Hi, everyone. Today, I would like to read a little part out of The Power of Awareness, but it's not really The Power of Awareness because I am now reading the part that is like added to this. It included awakened imagination. And that's like only a little tiny part of the book. And it's not so well known. I didn't find so many people talking about it, but I am super excited to share something with you, an idea that I just read, and I just have to share it with you. So, as you know, I converted to Judaism, and then when I converted, I took on the name Rivka. So Rika is my born name, and then Rivka is my Jewish name, when I converted. And so Rivka is Rebecca in the Bible, who was pregnant with the twins. And so the twins were struggling, though she felt like the struggle inside of her. And so she had this whole conversation with God. And I really related to that because it was like as if the good inclination and the evil inclination, and they were fighting. And she was already happy that it was not in one person, that it was not one person who had the good. It was one good person, one not that good one. So now I read in chapter 3 of Awakened Imagination the following, and the chapter is called Highways of the Inner World. Listen to this. So they quote Genesis 25:22-23, and it says, "And the children struggled within her. And the Lord said unto her, Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger." And so this is what I always probably understood, like there's like the good one and the bad one. But now this is so amazing. Like I cannot even, so Neville Goddard is so genius. So what he wrote is the following: duality is an inherent condition of life. Okay, so the good and the bad. Everything that exists is double. Every front has a back. There's no other way. In this 3D world, we always have two sides to everything. Man is a dual creature with contrary principles embedded in his nature. They war within him and present attitudes to life which are antagonistic. This conflict is the eternal enterprise, the war in heaven, the never-ending struggle of the younger of inner man of imagination to assert his supremacy over the elder or the outer man of sense. But now I was reading further because I got a little understanding, but the way that Neville is explaining is that the war that is going on is between our physical body and our conscious mind, our subconscious mind. So the inner man of imagination. So, and it says this conflict is the war, the never-ending struggle of the younger or inner man, which means like the one that is in our idea weaker, and the outer man that we think is stronger. But the weaker will win from the stronger. So if you read the whole story, then and the Jacob and Esau, and it's like you know that Esau is the one that is very outgoing, which is our outer body, our body mind, and then the spiritual side, the consciousness. So isn't that amazing? So man begins to awake to his imaginative life the moment he feels the presence of another being in himself. And that is really my journey. The moment you start understanding that you are not your body mind, there is something else. There is this presence in you, like that infinite being. And the minute you start understanding that that is what's going on, like, and a lot of us know, they say you have to get up at 5 a.m. and go for a cold ice bath. It's not about taking that cold ice bath or going for that walking or getting up at 5 and jumping out of your bed. It's about having the power, like the inner, your thoughts, your imagination, your consciousness, has to be in charge of your body and not the other way around. So most people walk through life and they have no idea that they are just programmed, and they just let their program run, and they are not in charge of anything. Life is just unfolding and their body mind is in charge. So how does he say it? So the outer man is in charge. But once you start listening to that inner voice, the inner man, that's when life becomes really cool. And that's when you can start your manifesting process. Then you can start manifesting whatever you want in life. There are two distinct centers of thoughts or outlooks on the world possessed by every man. The Bible speaks of these two outlooks as natural and spiritual. Man's inner body is as real in the world of subjective experience as his outer physical body is real in the world of external realities. But the inner body expresses a more fundamental part of reality. Your subconscious mind, your imagination, when you turn inwards, when you listen to that infinite being voice, that is way more real than the outer world, because your thoughts create your reality. So isn't that amazing? What an insight. This existing inner body of man must be constantly exercised and directed. We have to have power over our thoughts, power over our minds. That is what comes with focus. Focus and concentration. That is how you train your brain. And so you train your brain almost by training your body. So that is where discipline comes in. It's like the jumping out of bed when the alarm goes has more to do with training the inner body than training the outer body. Isn't that cool if you understand that? The inner world of thought and feeling to which the inner body is attuned has its real structure and exists in its own higher space. There are two kinds of movement, one that is according to the inner body and another that is according to the outer body. The movement which is according to the inner body is causal, but the outer movement is under compulsion. The inner movement determines the outer which is joined to it, bringing into the outer a movement that is similar to the actions of the inner body. You get it? Like you will create a life that you have in your head, consciously or subconsciously. So that's what I always emphasize. If you're not creating consciously, you will create by default. That is what shows. So inner movement is the force by which all events are brought to pass. Outer movement is the subject to the compulsion applied to it by the movement of the inner body. Whenever the actions of the inner body match the actions with the outer, must take the appeased desire, that desire will be realized. That is how you create it, how you create your reality, okay? Construct mentally a drama which implies that your desire is realized and make it one which involves movement of self. Immobilize your outer physical self. Get control over your physical self, you know? Act precisely as though you were going to take a nap and start a pretended action in imagination. Your imagination is key. I talk about it all the time. I'm so excited to read this. Like, it makes so much sense. A vivid representation of the action is the beginning of that action. Then, as you are falling asleep, consciously imagine yourself into the scene. The length of the sleep is not important. A short nap is sufficient. But carrying the action into sleep thickens fancy into fact. So you're going to visioneer while you are going to sleep. At first, your thoughts may be like rambling sheep that have no shepherd. Don't despair. Should your attention stray 70 times 7, bring it back 70 times 7 to its predetermined course until from sheer exhaustion, it follows the appointed path. It's like what your Dispenza says, you have to train the animal. You have to stay. That's what I hear Dr. Joe's voice, like stay, and you bring it back. You bring your body back, and you bring your thoughts back. You bring everything back, okay? Your thoughts are in charge of your body. The inner journey must never be without direction. When you take to the inner road, it is to do that what you did mentally before you started. You go for the prize you have already seen and accepted. And I'm going to leave it with this. So this comes out of the book that is called The Power of Awareness from Neville Goddard. This edition, which has the awakened imagination. And so this is on page, let me check, 142, chapter 3, Highways of the Inner World. And it is so amazing that this is a next level of understanding on how we live in a dual world, but there is this infinite power flowing to and through us that is really ruling everything. The inner man has control over the outer man, but you have to train the animal. And I think that's an amazing way of looking at it. It's the same story, and we know it all, but I mean, it's nice to see it again, like in a different way. So I hope you enjoyed this and it brings you some value. And if it does, please like my channel, and I see you next time. Bye, everyone.